Hi, Beyond Expo. Good morning. Good to see so many of you in here this morning. So welcome to the Sustainable Design Heist, robbing waste and creating value. So first up, we need to meet the masterminds of this design heist, and that is me and my company. I'm Tim, the founder of Better Labs, a sustainable and circular innovation and design studio based in Shanghai. And we help forward-looking businesses identify and implement creative sustainable solutions to enhance their products and services and meet their ESG objectives. And we do this through innovative design and the power of the circular economy. And so the sort of questions that we love to answer for our clients are, where do I start with sustainability? How can I reduce the impact of my product or business? Can I find value in sustainability? So you can imagine that we're a bit of a sustainable Robin Hood. We rob from the value wasters and we give to the value poor, those in need of value. So step one for our sustainable value heist, we always need to be clear on our target. What exactly is it that we are robbing? I always say that I hate waste. And when I say the word waste, you probably think of this, all the things that we discard in our lives. The dead appliances, the furniture, the old clothes, all of this material waste that we throw away in our everyday life. But there's a few other types of waste as well that we can look at. Imagine all the energy required to produce our products, our materials, our clothing, our furniture, and so on. All that energy that gets wasted when we discard our everyday items. Next up, the emotional value, all the things that we love in our life, when we throw them away, all that energy and emotional value also gets completely wasted. And finally, imagine all the time and effort, the blood, the sweat, and the tears a designer like me spent designing, building, engineering this product. When we throw away our products, all of that also gets completely wasted. So we can see now we have a few targets for our sustainable value heist here. The material value, the energy value, and some of the emotional value. So step two, every good heist, every good robbery needs a solid plan. And our waste heist plan is the circular economy. Now you might be asking, what exactly is the circular economy? And that's a very good question. So in our modern economy we have today, we can imagine it as a linear system. So we take materials from the natural environment, we make those materials into products, we use those products in our homes, in our businesses, in our schools, and then when we're finished with them, we just throw them away, discard them, and they become waste. In a circular system, we aim to turn that from a straight line into a circle, making sure we're reusing our materials, reusing our products, and keeping them in use for as long as possible. And normally when I explain this, someone will put their hand up and say, but Tim, isn't that just recycling? Why can't we do more recycling? And the answer is yes and no. Recycling is certainly an important part of the circular economy, but it's not the only part. And the circular economy is a lot more than just simply recycling. You can also imagine it like a hill, a value hill. So every step in that process, from getting natural resources, making them into products, using them in our homes and businesses, increases the value, and we go up the value hill to the top where the user sits. When we throw away these products, all of that value gets completely wasted and we end up back down the other side of the value hill into the rubbish bin. So in a circular value hill, what we're aiming to achieve is to keep the value as high up the hill for as long as possible through extending the use of our products, repairing them, reusing them, refurbishing or remanufacturing, and only then towards the bottom of the hill do we recycle them. So you can see that the circular economy at its core is all about maintaining value. So step three, a few successful heists from our work in creating value from the stolen waste. Firstly, in the sustainable design category, this air purifier, Fresco air purifier concept design we developed as a circular redesign project. Now, this was inspired by my air purifier at home. Every 3 months, it tells me to throw away my filter and buy a new one. And I thought, there is so much waste in these materials that I'm throwing away every month. So we looked at the air purifier, the design, we tore it down, looked at the materials, looked at how it's made, and did a life cycle analysis on this air purifier. We used a value flow exercise to track where all that value is going throughout the system and how we might be able to redesign it. And then finally, we went through a reimagination workshop process to understand how we can redesign this air purifier system to be more sustainable and more circular. We redesigned the system into more of a leasing system to make sure that we're capturing those materials back for reuse and recycle. And we redesigned the product to provide better value to the consumers. Rather than being a simple white box, we turned it into more of a piece of furniture, providing more value to the users of this product. Secondly, from a sustainable strategy point of view, we reimagined a low-carbon exhibition system. So you can imagine an exhibition such as Beyond. In a few days, when the exhibition is finished, so many of the materials in these stands we see around us will be simply junked, thrown away. And so my client was looking to address this and reduce the amount of waste from these exhibition booths. So again, we went through a reimagination process, looking at what strategies my client could use to reimagine this design and keep some of those materials in use as long as possible. Ultimately, we settled on a modular, reusable design so that these components could be reused again and again and again, so extending the lifespan. As a result, they saved around 90% of their carbon emissions over similar single-use products, and they switched to more of a leasing business model as well to, again, maintain that value for them as a business. And here's the finished system. And finally, sustainable education. We run a number of circular innovation workshops. And as a sustainable designer, it's quite easy for us to design products that last longer from a physical standpoint. But what happens when we get tired of these products and we throw them away? This is why we also focus on something called emotional durability, such as this jacket I've had for about 15 years, worn every winter, repaired when it breaks, and so on. And it's become a piece of clothing that I really love and enjoy. So we have developed a workshop to help boost the emotional durability of products, looking at why people love their products and how we can boost the emotional connection people have with their products. So, some of the lessons learned from these sustainable value heists. Firstly, don't just recycle, case out the whole system. The circular economy is a lot more than just recycling. Secondly, always know what's worth stealing, what's the most valuable loot in your mark. Identify where that value is being lost across the system. And finally, the getaway plans matter as well. Don't just think about the start, plan for your exit as well, and think about the end of life at the start when you're designing your product. So, for our next mission, if you would also like to be a circular bandit, as I said, my business, Better Labs, we do sustainable design, strategy, and education, design across products, spaces, and experiences. And also, if you want to stop by our small booth in the startup area, SK28, we're running a 2-minute circular innovation pop-up where you can also be a circular bandit. Think fast, steal smart, and design for good. So I'll be over there in the startup area. Come and have a chat. Thank you.